It's 3 a.m. I'm in my bed, scrolling through Tumblr, and I see an onslaught of 3 a.m. poems that completely baffle me. What is it about 3 a.m. that makes everyone feel so many things? Love, emotion, rejection, success, happiness. Personally speaking, at 3 a.m., that's when I'm most creative. That's when I'm most productive. Creativity. It's the connection between seemingly unrelated things that, when put together, make an impact on the world. What creativity consists of is human agency, utility, and novelty. Now, there has been so much research done on how we can be more creative, and what are some steps to be taken so that you can utilize when you are most creative to make sure that you are improving the world. For example, Weish and Ross have done research that proves that we are most creative during our off-peak moments. That means when we are actually on our on-peak moments, we are able to solve problems that are more challenging. But in our off-peak moments, we are able to solve problems that are more innovative. So why is that? It's because during our off-peak moments, we are inundated with distraction. And it is within that distraction that we are able to solve these innovative problems that we need to solve in such a way that is different from the routine way that other problems are solved by. For example, Charles Dickens, he knew that he works best after 2 p.m. That's when he would work at. Whereas Robert Frost knew that he works best after midnight, so that's when he would work at. So what these artists had done was they manipulated with time to ensure that they worked with their off-peak and on-peak moments. Similarly, there's other ways that you can also increase your creativity. For example, a lot of us are very creative in the shower. For me, I don't shower just for cleanliness. Shower is like an experience. I have my epiphanies, realizations, and a lot of people actually feel the same way. When they go to the bathroom, they come out with this completely new idea of their existence. So what is it about the bathroom? What is it about the shower that allows us to think more creatively? Researcher Robert DeNovo actually coined a term called the creative pause. And the creative pause is all about introducing a disruption into your daily routine. Our brains are actually wired to be more conservative than creative. So as a result, we strive for more planning. We like patterns because we're trying to survive. So Robert DeNovo says, why don't you introduce something like showering, which can create a disruption in your routine, something that can jade the normality of your day. Now, the idea of jarring your day and introducing a disruption is actually a part of a larger conversation when we're talking about creativity. And what it alludes to is artists who are considered tortured souls. For example, Ernest Hemingway or Tennessee Williams. These artists are famous for had gone through bipolar or depression. And sometimes what we do is we correlate that mental affliction with people who are very, very creative. There was one time where I actually wrote an article and my friend had shown it to her mom. And her mom, when she had read it, had said, "Does this girl have depression?" So then I had to think about it. And I didn't, but what I did have was resilience. So that's how we counteract the myth that to be creative, you need to have mental affliction. In fact, what you do have is resilience, mindfulness, and a sense of reframing your current situation. Now, let's talk a little bit about what reframing means. So reframing is when you have a situation, but the way you look at it is with a different perspective. And that's actually what creativity is all about. You have A, B, and C. We all have A, B, and C. Now, what the creative person does is when they see A, B, and C, they're thinking of D, E, and F. So this concept of reframing. If I were to break my camera, and I love my camera, what are some of the reactions that I could have? Regret, guilt, sadness, but where would that leave me? Nowhere. No more. There's no progress. There's no creativity from that. I can either accept that I have broken my camera and go on with my life cameraless, fix that camera, or I can buy a new camera. That would result in a better way of handling that situation. That situation itself didn't change, but my response to it did. And that's how we reframe things to create more creativity. To be creative in these situations allows us to create human connection. That's what goes from, for example, Harrison Ford. He didn't really create anything. What he did was he saw a model that he wanted to improve on. Whereas Einstein or Edison and them, they're more intuitive thinkers. And they're actually 30% of how the normal population is. So what they do is they actually create new things. But the creativity that I'm talking about is when you're looking at A, B, and C, and you're just trying to improve upon it. So, and through finding a human connection, through finding some sort of connectivity between these points. For example, this building that we're in, how can we connect this building to nature? So this building, even though we would consider it as the opposite of what nature is still, the foundation is still in soil, right? So if I were to walk out the building, I would see something else that's also founded in soil, which is a flower. Now, what is the difference between this building and the flower? The flower's purpose is more for beauty and nourishment, whereas this building is housing people, ideas, and movement. But yet they both exist in the same foundation, this soil. Now, me just talking about the flower right now creates that connectivity. I brought the flower in. And now what you do is when you leave this building and you see that flower, you're going to see it in a different way. Now both you and the flower are rooted in the same soil. The soil ends up being a mother who creates a bunch of children and these children have an intentional and inextricable link with each other. And it is through these connections do we go on to the next topic, mindfulness, right? And the sense of resilience. Mindfulness is when you are very, very aware of your surroundings and what is around you, but what is also within you. Now, what a creative person does is they take advantage of the people they're around. They realize that every single person has an incredible story. So when you're around when a creative person is around you, they will be very present. And they will listen to exactly what you're saying to find out what moves you, what motivates you. And they will take your story and think of it in a different way. For example, to me, this wall is just a wall. But to someone like Houdini, this wall was an opening. It's a very different way of looking at things that people who are creative do. And through mindfulness, for example, how to be more creative in that aspect is to just be more aware of the problems that you're trying to address. And that leads to why being creative is actually very valuable in society. And it's valuable because you can use your creativity to do benefit to people, to improve lives, to create some sort of system that is just going to make things easier for someone else. So the creative person, what he does, or she, what they do is they take what is their understanding in their brains and their minds, and they make it into living. They make it into real from their hearts. And that's how you create a creative world, by allowing these people to be in situations that will create improvement in our society. So I'd like to do a small mindfulness activity that is called open mindfulness. And what it does is it allows us to think a little bit more creatively afterwards. I'm not sure why we need to be all creative at the moment right now, all of us at the same time. But just in case, we'll see how that affects us afterwards. So if you guys can join me in this activity and close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Connecting with every feeling associated with that breath. On a physical level. What does it feel like when it enters and exhales from your body? Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling your abdomen expand and contract. In and out. Doing a quick scan of your body. Notice if there are any areas of tension or tightness. Make sure the muscles in your face are relaxed, that you are not clenching your jaw. Bring the tip of your tongue to the area directly behind your two front teeth. And notice how immediately any stored tension or tightness is released a little bit from the muscles in your jaw. And as you settle in, continue to stay connected to this present moment. And being that witness to any sensation, to any image, to any feeling, to any thoughts that come into your awareness. Imagine them floating in front of you without attaching to any of them. Simply observe as they float by you. Stay connected with this present moment. With anything you might be feeling, with any thoughts you may be having, you are the observer of all of it. Now begin to bring your focus into the area between your pelvis and your navel, the soft lower belly. Begin to invite your breath and all of your feelings, your thoughts, ideas, tensions, and stress to flow into your lower belly, your lower back, your hips. Let it travel slowly and gently up your spine and around your neck, up your head, through your scalp, and sliding down your nose, your Cupid's bow, gently flowing past your lips and to your chest. Let it circle your heart, through your lungs, and release. Okay, you can open your eyes. Thank you.